Chase Lee Hockey with the blue futon. Out of the theater, I saw RRR, Rise, Roar, Revolt. Should you rise, roar, and revolt to the theater to see this movie? Let's find out. So RRR, what's about the very simple premise actually. We are in India, 1920, and the British Empire still has control of India. Now you have these British people that decide to take this girl from this village. Now there's one guy, the brother, is after this girl. But now there's an Indian that's part of the British police force that's also after this guy who's after this girl. What's going to happen in this 3-hour adventure? So, I won't lie, this is my first time I actually saw one of these Bollywood movies. Yes, I've seen some Indian movies that are like, don't have the singing and the dancing and stuff like that, and that ain't the 3-hour like time frame. So this is the first one I've ever seen one, and the first one in theaters. Did I like it? I had a blast with this one, guys. This was so much fun. Yes, are there some hammy stuff? Absolutely. But we'll go with the negatives of this movie first because I did like it that much. There is some singing in some spots where I just thought it wasn't appropriate. For example, there's a kind of a torture scene with a whip, and it's graphic, and I was like, I don't know if this singing should be here. I mean, yes, I understand why it's there to kind of like, tell the story of how a revolution is going to happen, but something about him getting whipped with spikes on it and him singing just didn't feel right to me. It was just like, I don't know if this is appropriate to do this. As well as some, I don't know if you could call it acting, but some hammy stuff in it, especially when one of the people found out someone's real intentions, and it was just more of like, oh, brother! I can't believe my brother! And it's just like, I mean, it's okay, calm down. We know what's going to happen to that level. But other than those two small things for this 3-hour movie, I had a blast. I thought the directing was great. Yes, okay, we'll go with some of the CGI with some of the Indian citizens need weapons in their hands to fight off the British. And so, being in America, we're kind of the same way of like, yo, I want a weapon because we know no one's going to invade us because you don't know how many are in my safe. You don't know how many is on my wall. How many are just hidden in my house. Just like, pew, pew, pew. So I did like that message of the directing and writing of the story. And of course, we're going to go with the singing and dancing. I did not have an issue with the dancing in this movie. How they did the dancing in this movie was a hysterical dance-off. And it was an absolute blast to watch about how these British people are like, the salsa, the tango, the flamingo, whatever you want to call it. And then the Indian guy brings up their style of dancing. And it's kind of like a dance-off between the British and the Indians and how what they're doing with their kind of foot movement. And it's absolutely fun to watch with the white ladies and everything like that, and then the white guys, and then the two Indian guys doing this dance. And I just thought it was a complete blast with that dancing. I was expecting something to be more cheesy. To me, it was like step up to an nth degree of how it worked so well. And of course, now let's go into the action of the movie. And let's go into the MPAA as well when I talk about. So I just watched The Hyperions. It's on Daily Water. It's a Sabian film. And I just watched RRR. Hyperions is is R with blood. There's one scene of blood. RRR, arrows are going through people's necks. Arrows, cheetahs are killing people. People are throwing everyone else in this movie. But my God, the imagination of, I'm going to put an arrow through this bamboo trunk. Sorry, I'm just so excited right now. That's on fire. It's going to ricochet off. Another guy's going to catch it, kill someone with it, and then a motorcycle is going to come, and I'm going to shoot grenade arrows, and you're just like, what is happening? Give me more of this. It is so ridiculous. Yeah, there is some intermission with it. Yeah, you could say the story is long, but I thought the story was absolutely interesting about if I'm going to call it the India Revolution in the 1920s of trying to get their freedom from the British. Or why. So overall, RRR, it is absolutely worth your time. People might be like, oh, it's going to be a cheesy time with dancing and singing everywhere. Yes, you got to get used to the singing because it does show up here and there. I would say in this 3-hour movie, there's about 5 or 6 songs, and they're about 3 to 5 minutes each. So there's that. And I'll go, oh, what about the dancing? Yeah, the dancing at the ending credits, it's very talented of like what you're doing with your feet and doing all the dancing scenes. So it's actually fun at the very end. But the dancing in the actual movie works. It flows actually. Like you're just like that is not awkward because India and British both have different styles of dancing. And how the European colonies have different tango from stuff like that. And India has their own style of dancing. So doing that dance off really didn't feel off. It was a fun, unique part of the movie. And there is some good humor in this movie about Jenny and what her name actually is. This is also in English, because like I said, they're British, and also in Indian, which there's two languages. It's Hindi, and I can't say the other one. I'm going to apologize, but I saw the Hindi version, and I think that's the one that's actually dubbed from the original things that the actors were saying. But Hindi were the actual actors saying that as well. So even though their mouths didn't move the same way as the other dialogue they were trying to speak, it was still the same actors saying the same dialogue. So other than that, RRR is directed fantastically. It looks great. Like the actual landscape cinematography is fun. Yeah, some CGI is a little bit wonky. And one song with the torture scene, I just felt like that was uncomfortable because seeing a guy get tortured like that, and it's a bloody torture scene. There's a scene where they lift a cement block by his feet and there's blood everywhere. You're just like, holy shit. So the more I think about it, yes, this should be an R-rated movie, not PG-13 at any level. But anyway, RRR, great movie. See it if you can. If you're like, oh, it's a movie from India and I think it's going to be too weird. Yeah, there are some weird scenes, especially with trying to save a kid from oil. But that's the fun of this movie. We don't have that in America, right? Our movies have to be serious action movies that are just like, and then our humor is just so tame now. It's like, we don't want to offend anyone. Is this movie going to offend anyone? Absolutely not. But it's something that it's an experience that everyone should try out. It is something that you should try. So RRR will receive a 4.5 out of 5 with Futons. Equals at 90%. So see the critics news scores gave this one. So you have the critics. There's two of them, and they got one's positive and one's negative. The negative says bikes are tossed, bombs are tossed, Brits are tossed. RR throws so much in all directions. Yet I left the theater feeling nothing. I have to disagree. I thought I felt something with this story about a revolution of India wanting their peace, and to do that, they have to infiltrate the British Empire and get their weapons to the Indians so they can revolt. I felt it. Anyway, 2 reviews, 1 negative, 1 positive. Audience score 96% though, 250 with no critic consensus. So with that, we have to go with the 50%, my 90, or the 96. I'm sorry, I felt something. I thought the story was strong. It worked. And it is something that's true to what is happening today. If you want to look at Ukraine and Russia, what did Ukraine do? Ukraine gave all citizens over 18 an AK to fight. What's that different from 1920s to 2020? Let's be fucking honest with ourselves here. Anyway, RRR, 50%, 90, 96. I believe that. Chase you like with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about Blue Futopia. You Blue Futonians, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Find it if you can. Seriously, it is worth a watch.